Kennywood is an amusement park in West Mifflin, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh. First opened in 1899, Kennywood has a great mix of a rich history and modern amenities, and it's become a major piece of the city of Pittsburgh's identity. On our recent coastal road trip, Kennywood is the final park we hit before our drive home. While Jess and I had visited Kennywood previously, this was Madeline and Gwen's first visit, and they are really excited for this park. Madeline had been talking about riding the indoor spinning wild mouse for weeks, and Gwen was really excited to visit Thomas the Tank Engine at Thomastown. We arrived at the park around 10 a.m. on Sunday. Kennywood offers both paid and free parking, although the free parking is a little bit of a hike. We were early and hit the time, so we chose the free option on this trip. The free lot is on top of a big hill, and there's an escalator and a ski lift to help you get down to the parking lot. Unfortunately, both of these options are broken, and from what I understand, they've been broken for quite some time, so we had to walk all the way down from the upper lot. The park did not open until 10:30, but people were already starting to queue up outside the main gate when we arrived. After a short wait, the park opened up, and after passing a mandatory COVID temperature screening, we made our way through the front gate. The entry plaza at Kennywood is on one side of the road, and then you need to walk through a tunnel to enter the park itself. The tunnel is a unique way to enter the park, and it fits this park's personality very well. While the park opened its gates at 10:30, we soon discovered that the rides didn't open till 11. It would have been nice if the park was upfront about this on their website when they posted their operating hours, as our kids are kind of upset about having to wait a little bit to get in line, but it wasn't a huge deal, and it actually gave us an opportunity to get some great footage of rides testing for the morning, so all in all it worked out pretty well for us. When the rides finally opened up, we immediately entered the queue for Exterminator, the park's indoor wild mouse. We know that this ride has a terrible capacity, so we wanted to make sure we get it in before the lines got really long later in the day. Exterminator has always been my favorite wild mouse coaster, and it delivered a really good ride. Madeline told me it's her favorite wild mouse now as well. The indoor setting and theming provide a unique twist on a fairly common ride model, and I really wish more parks would add attractions like Exterminator to their lineups. After a few laps on Exterminator, we took a spin on the whip. Kennywood is all about history, and the park has historical markers everywhere, and it really goes out of its way to keep its classic attractions up and running. In the 1920s, the whip was a common attraction at parks throughout the country, but today, Kennywood's whip is the only 16-car version of this ride still in operation. Kennywood's commitment to preserving their history has preserved the whip, as well as other classics such as the Turtle and Auto Race and even the Bayern Curve. If you're a fan of historic flats, Kennywood is a park that you really need to experience. After enjoying rides on the whip and the Turtle, we made it to Thunderbolt, one of Kennywood's 3 ace landmark coasters. Thunderbolt first opened in 1924 as the Pippin, and it was renamed Thunderbolt in 1968 when it received a major track expansion. This classic Woody features buzz bar restraints, and since it does not have seat dividers, it is required that 2 passengers ride in each seat. Before COVID-19, if you were a single rider, the ride op would match you with another single rider, or hop in the seat next to you and take the ride with you. Unfortunately, social distancing means that you now need to bring a friend to ride Thunderbolt in 2020. Thunderbolt is still a great ride, and it delivers a smooth ride, has nice laterals, and a few pops of decent airtime. We took several laps on Thunderbolt before heading to the attraction that Kennywood is most famous for. No, I'm not talking about the Phantom's Revenge. Everyone knows that Kennywood is best known for its potato patch fries. These delicious fries are coated in cheese and bacon, and while eating them probably takes a few years off your life, I for one am willing to take that risk. Our visit to the potato patch did introduce us to the first disappointment of the day, that being Kennywood's terrible food service operations. Between insufficient staffing, slow food preparation process, and a general lack of a sense of urgency from the staff, every food and drink experience we had at Kennywood during this visit was an exercise in frustration. Even though there are only 2 people in front of us in the potato patch line, it was almost 30 minutes from when we entered the line to when we received our food. This trend would repeat itself again and again throughout the day, at the cheesesteak shop, the soda stand, and the lemonade stand. It actually proved to be pretty difficult to stay hydrated because it was a hot day, and every option to purchase drinks had at least a 20-minute wait. And due to COVID, all the water fountains are turned off as well. Kennywood does a lot of things right, but food service operations is one area where they desperately need to improve. After the potato patch fries, we took rides on the Phantom's Revenge and Skyrocket. The Phantom's Revenge is a one-of-a-kind mix of Arrow and Morgan, and deserves every bit of the praise it receives. The ride is smooth and forceful and delivers some absolutely epic airtime. The dive under Thunderbolt is always the highlight of the ride for me, personally, and the ride is really solid from start to finish, and it easily earns its spot on my top 10 list. Skyrocket was a new credit for me, as it was down on my previous visit to Kennywood. Much to my delight, Madeline said that she wanted to ride it with me as well. Skyrocket has a fun launch, great airtime on the top hat, several fun inversions, and it is glass smooth throughout the entire course. Madeline and I both loved it, and as soon as we got back into the station, we parent swapped out, and Jess and Madeline took a ride on Skyrocket together. Skyrocket is a perfect step-up coaster for kids who have graduated beyond family coasters and are ready to experience their first launches and inversions. I really wish more parks would add coasters like this to their lineups. Up next after Skyrocket was two of the park's dark rides, the Old Mill and Ghostwood Estate. The Old Mill is the oldest operating water-based dark ride in the world. It has had many themes throughout the years, with the most recent itineration being Garfield's Nightmare. The ride was themed back to the Old Mill for the 2020 season. Ghostwood Estate is a standard haunted house attraction. Typically, this ride is a shooting dark ride similar to the Boo Blaster clones seen at many Cedar Fair parks, but for some reason the blasters have been removed and you simply sit in the car as it drives through the attraction. I may get some hate for this because I know some people really love these rides, but honestly, I was not really impressed with either of them. The scenery was basic and neither really told a compelling story. Maybe I'm a ride snob, but I was really hoping for something more immersive out of each of these dark rides. While it was closed on this visit, we have gone through the Noah's Ark walkthrough before, and I personally enjoyed it much more than the Old Mill or Ghostwood Estate. After the dark rides, it was time to move on to Jackrabbit. This classic coaster is celebrating its 100th birthday this year, and is the oldest continuously operating roller coaster in the world. Jackrabbit is just as much fun today as it was in 1920, delivering a smooth ride and a moment of incredible airtime as the ride rockets down the signature Double Down. Jackrabbit has been very well maintained, and really is the heart of Kennywood's collection of classic coasters. It's obvious to me that the park and the Pittsburgh community as a whole really care about this coaster, and I hope it continues to operate for another 100 years. Our next big disappointment of the day was that Steel Curtain was not operating. When we visited Kennywood last year, Steel Curtain's delayed opening prevented us from riding it then, and on this visit, the ride was down again for completely unknown reasons. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't upset about this, but I guess this just gives me a reason to come back to Kennywood next year. Hopefully I'll get the credit then. It was starting to get late in the day, and we had two kids who wanted to do different things, so we decided it was time to split up and make sure everyone left the park happy. Jess and Gwen went off to visit Kiddie Land in Thomastown, and Madeline and I went off to ride the racer. Kennywood has a great kids area. Kiddie Land is the primary kids area, with a variety of children's rides. Gwen loved going from ride to ride, with her favorite being the mini Ferris wheel. The park's kiddie coaster, Little Phantom, is located in this section as well, although it was not running the day of our visit. The Thomastown section is small, but it was very well done. The area is well themed and features a roundhouse with all the kids' favorite trains in it. The area is obviously home to the park's train ride, with the engine pulling the cars being Thomas himself. A strong children's area is a critical part of a regional park like Kennywood, and we are impressed with what Kiddie Land and Thomastown had to offer. Gwen really enjoyed it and was upset when it was time to leave. Madeline is just now starting to ride larger coasters, and she was nervous when she boarded the racer. Skyrocket may have been more intense, but the jungle of wood and loose restraints was way more intimidating to her. As the buzz bar restraints locked down, she looked at me and said, "Dada, I think I may have made a mistake getting on this ride." But before she could chicken out, the ride dispatched and we were on our way. As we rounded the turn and headed to the lift, Madeline was visibly afraid, but then she saw it, the other train. Immediately her competitive side took over, and she completely forgot that she was afraid. Going up the lift, she demanded that we trash talk the competition. I, of course, did my fatherly duty, and immediately started telling the other train that they're going down, and then back up again, and then down again, because that's how a roller coaster works. Madeline loved it, and as we raced through the course, she completely forgot that she was afraid. Before you knew it, she was smiling ear to ear. She laughed and cheered throughout the entire ride, and when we got off, was riding high on the thrill that can only be accomplished by conquering a coaster that you were previously afraid of. And, of course, she immediately wanted to ride it again. Our entire family had a great time at Kennywood. Make no mistake, Kennywood's not a perfect park, but I truly feel it is one of the better hometown parks that I visited. Kennywood offers a great mix of rides and attractions, with there being plenty to do for all age groups. The park retains its rich history while still providing a modern experience, and has a unique charm that you simply don't find at the larger chain parks. Kennywood is woven into the fabric of Pittsburgh, and I've never met someone who grew up in the area who's not have fond memories of visiting Kennywood. While other parks certainly do things better than Kennywood does, the overall experience of this park is hard to beat. Have you visited Kennywood? If you have, I would love to hear your comments about the park in the comments section, and if you've not done so already, please hit the subscribe button for more content from Coaster Center. Until next time, ride on, Coaster fans.